In 1947, something spectacular happened near Roswell, New Mexico. A rancher named Mac Brazel found remains of lightweight metals and other objects that were impossible to break. Brazel took some of these objects to the authorities, who days later the American Army announced, "We have recovered the remains of a flying saucer." This announcement immediately sparked speculation of all kinds. However, the next day the American Army announced that it was a weather balloon from a secret project called Mogul. Despite the official explanation, many believed there was a cover-up by the government. Subsequently, Brazel passed away in 1963, long before the interest in the incident rose much stronger. And this incident leaves us with a question: was it really a weather balloon or the first contact with extraterrestrial technology? A name that always comes up in these stories is Area 51. There, according to conspiracy versions, the government would have stored and studied extraterrestrial technology. The self-proclaimed scientist Bob Lazar claimed to have worked on a secret project called Galileo. According to Lazar, they had recovered ships with anti-gravity propulsion and were trying to rebuild that technology for that purpose. A mysterious element was needed, element 115, today known as Moscovio. It is said that this element was the fuel for alien ships. It is currently known that element 115 is a very heavy element that is mainly used to study nuclear forces in laboratories. If one day someone manages to synthesize a stable version of it, theories suggest it could be used to create new sources of energy and space propulsion technologies. By the way, Lazar's accounts coincide curiously with later scientific discoveries. In 1958, 11 years after the Roswell case, the first microchip was invented, which was the engine of the digital boom. Decades later, fiber optics was developed, the basis of our telecommunications. Could it be a mere coincidence that those technologies came from human inspiration or from extraterrestrial reverse engineering? There is no official evidence of a direct relationship, but the coincidence of times makes many people wonder whether, perhaps after each sighting, an innovation would emerge that would change the course of our history. 78 years have passed up to the present since the first recorded contact occurred with alien technology, and I want to clarify that I say recorded because there have been many people who claim to have had sightings long before 1947, during the Second World War, during the years 1944 and 1945. Allied pilots began to see strange objects in the sky, bright spheres that defied all the logic they knew at that time. These aircraft were named Foo Fighters. They were not enemies, nor were they missiles. They appeared out of nowhere, they followed the fighters, and then just vanished like that. Some were red, others silver, others orange, but the only thing they had in common was that they all moved at speeds impossible to keep up. They were simply there watching, without interfering. The radars did not detect them, but many pilots saw them. It was reported across Europe and in the Pacific. Some people believed that they were secret weapons from Germany, and others that they were beings from another world. This mystery was so serious that it even reached classified reports from the countries involved in this incident. To this day, no one has explained what they really were, the Foo Fighters. Were they there before humanity appeared on Earth? And if so, what were they doing at that moment? To investigate that, we will have to travel to the past. In antiquity, our ancestors created gigantic monuments, such as the pyramids of Egypt, Chichen Itza, Machu Picchu, among others. These structures, even today, with the technology we have now, we find it hard to understand how they did it. According to the scientists who studied these constructions, the pyramids of Egypt were built by humans using ramps, ropes, sleds and objects to move stone blocks. The pyramids possess an almost perfect precision toward the 4 cardinal directions, which indicates they had astronomical observations very advanced for that era. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, located on the outskirts of Cairo, emerges as a guardian patron of enigmas millennia long. Its more than 2 million limestone blocks were assembled with such precision that their faces point north, south, east, and west. In ancient Egypt, the ceremonies of the rope weaving were a fundamental ritual for the proper orientation of buildings, sacred ones like temples and pyramids. During these ceremonies, the pharaoh used the observation of the stars, specifically the constellation Virgo of Taurus, a ritual that combined astronomical observation with practical practice. It ensured the correct orientation and cosmic connection with their buildings sacred. After decades devoted to the study of the pyramids, in 2017, the Scan Pyramids project discovered a secret void about 30 meters in the Pyramid of Giza, an ascending corridor that leads to the pharaoh's chamber, whose function is unknown. No one has found inscriptions that speak of that giant passage, which fuels legends of lost chambers and reinforces their fascination with its origin, still inextricable. As for Machu Picchu, it is located at 2,430 meters above sea level, among mist-covered mountain peaks. There is no Inca text that indicates why they chose that place so remote. Some explorers suggest that it was a spiritual sanctuary. Others think it was an observatory secret astronomical, but there is still no definitive answer. The Inca city was erected with gigantic granite blocks, carved and assembled with such precision that not a single sheet of paper fits between them. The Intihuatana stone appears to be a solar clock, but no one knows for certain what its exact function is. The most curious thing is that many of these stones were destroyed by conquerors in other temples, but these survived intact during the conquest of Peru. The Spaniards destroyed and plundered almost all the Inca cities except Machu Picchu. In fact, it was forgotten for centuries until the archaeologist Hiram Bingham rediscovered it in 1911. Was it deliberately hidden by the Incas? Some theories suggest that only sacred elites lived there, possibly astronomers, priests, or sun maidens. Radar-based ground penetration studies have detected cavities in tunnels and underground chambers. It is speculated that there may exist secret passages or underground chambers still hidden. Even the tomb of the Inca Pacacutec. To this day, it has not been allowed to excavate freely in those areas. Currently, Machu Picchu is a heritage of humanity, but even today many areas are restricted to the public and researchers independent. These monuments evoke awe and also many questions, like the idea of non-human civilizations intervening in their construction. It is an interesting story for science fiction theories, but it lacks an archaeological basis. Authors like von Däniken pointed out that these sites were proof of alien visits to Earth, which were too advanced for their time and made no sense. However, the scientific community firmly rejects these theories. There are no historical documents to support it, and studies indicate that the Egyptians, the Incas and the Mayans reached those wonders thanks to their own knowledge and their own labor. In the end, they are astonishing human legacy, leaving many details still to be deciphered, without invoking explanations of extraterrestrial technology. Currently, more and more scientists and governments stop storing data. Serious Harvard researchers study UFO phenomena, and the laws demand more transparency in these cases. Perhaps very soon we will have clear answers, or perhaps we will always be left with doubt. If travelers from the future visit us, or are we still being watched by the same beings whom our ancestors called gods? Whatever the truth may be, for now we can only look to the sky in awe that one day not far from now we will discover the truth about these events.